In 1980s, the National Security Council became involved in secret weapons transactions and other activities that either were prohibited by the U.S. Congress or violated the stated public policy of the government. This U.S. political scandal is known as Iran-Contra affair that occurred during the second term of the Reagan administration. From Britannica archives, two actions that had been proscribed by U.S. policy or law were at the center of the Iran-Contra affair, which unfolded during Ronald Reagan's second presidential term are the following. First, secret sale of weapons to Iran in an unsuccessful attempt to win freedom for U.S. hostages held in Lebanon. And second, the use of some of the profits from those cocaine trade sales to provide military support for the counter-revolutionary efforts of the Contras in Nicaragua. Although Reagan had called the Contras the moral equivalent of our founding fathers, he had been unable to persuade Congress to authorize funding of their efforts, which was prohibited under the Boland Amendments. Boland Amendments prevent DOD and CIA from financially supporting the Contras. From an article published by American Express, in 1985, while Iran and Iraq were at war, Iran made a secret request to buy weapons from the United States. Mark Fairlane sought Reagan's approval in spite of the embargo against selling arms to Iran. Mark Fairlane explained that the sale of arms would not only improve U.S. relations with Iran, but might in turn lead to improved relations with Lebanon, increasing U.S. influence in the troubled Middle East. Reagan was driven by a different obsession. He had become frustrated at his inability to secure the release of the 7 American hostages being held by Iranian terrorists in Lebanon. Reagan makes secret deal to exchange hostages for the weapons. U.S. government allocates $30 million for the weapons. $18 million of the funds are funneled to the Contras in Nicaragua. During those times, televised congressional hearings covered complex political scandal daily. It was revealed that the then unknown Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North of the National Security Council had played a pivotal role in what was characterized by some observers as a shadow government covert program to support the Contras. According to Oliver North, he had been diverting funds from the arms sales to the Contras, with the full knowledge of National Security Advisor Admiral John Poindexter and with the unspoken blessing, he assumed, of the President Reagan. Reagan claimed to have had no knowledge of the diversion of funds. Vice President George H.W. Bush was found to have had no operational role in the undertaking. The immunity granted to many of the participants in return for their testimony and later presidential pardons meant that very few of the transgressors spent much time in prison. I am Lovely Montoya of Manila STV.